You're watching West Wednesday 635, Justice for Tyrone West and Justice for All Victims of Police Brutality. Tawanda, it's all you.
Thank you so much, Queen. Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And as we show you weekly our video of one of the first officers that have started the brutal attack on my brother Tyrone West, we're going to show you that video, and we'll be back momentarily.
Can't stop, won't stop, till killer cops or in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up. No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it up.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
So do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they can never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Check.
Awesome. So, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I just kind of do a recap of us, the West Coalition, and not just the West Coalition, but many other coalitions had joined in solidarity on yesterday to support our sister Latoya, who her son Xavier Hill was executed at the and it's so hard. But she actually had an event yesterday, and we all met her down at Washington D.C. Supreme Court, and it was very interesting and sad, and just was so much that was going on. But despite how the things that we had to get over, we still were able to uplift our loved ones' names. We were still there to, and for her son Xavier, and then all the other families were able to testify and talk about their loved ones. But it was disgusting to me, and that's what I kind of want to talk about. So, well, at the march, the protest, well, not the march, but she was actually going to deliver paperwork and things like that, because she's been fighting, and and I commend her fight, and she's never given up on fighting to hold people accountable for killing her only son. It's just sad and disgusting, but nevertheless, we went there, and then she had a workshop, and everything, was going good, and up until the time, like the plans that we had to was going good and things like that. But it was like, as soon as we got there, literally, we were greeted with hate. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to call a spade a spade. Now, keep in mind, when the insurrection happened, a few years ago, when, our current president now decided that he didn't want to send his goons and thugs to take over the Capitol. And you had people with weapons, all men and women, climbing up the Capitol. Like when I saw it, when they were, and then was out there, and all the stuff, all like around the world was like literally covering it, and everybody was like, wow, hey, those would have been Black peaceful protesters out there, they would have been gunned down immediately. Like, what? Climbing up a wall? Like, what? And like going in there. Then unfortunately, people, someone was killed, like people got hurt. It's tragic. But my whole point is, with that being said, they turned it totally different across the street that was literally less than 20 to, I'm going to say 10 feet away from us, literally. So when we go there yesterday, peaceful with protest signs, not bearing weapons, protest signs, we were literally greeted by two Caucasian officers that pretty much were very disrespectful for the fact that they said that, you can't walk up on the Capitol steps. You can't walk up on the Supreme Courthouse stairway. You couldn't walk up the stairway with, if you had shirts of your loved ones on, or protest signs, you were not allowed on the property. Like, you could say it and I'm like, are you kidding? And before we got there, let me tell you what they categorized us. They we were told by there that they said, oh, told the police officer, I'm just warning you guys, the angry black women are coming out here today to protest. Like, really? Like, really? But did y'all say a bunch of angry white racists thugs were coming to the Capitol to storm and to hurt and armed people were coming? You know, did they say anything, about that? No. But that's how we were greeted, and it was just so, like, it was horrible. And then literally, so y'all know me, I'm gonna test the waters, meaning that I'm always gonna come in peace. I'm not gonna do nothing stupid to get myself killed or anyone hurt. But I'm literally asking valid questions like, oh, well, where was this energy when the insurrection happened? Like, wow, we out here with our, with signs. Y'all got the weapons. We only got our voice, And they ain't say nothing. And then you can see some of them turning around. So I guess at that moment they called for backup, and they sent at least about a dozen more officers. And then the fact that they sent an officer out there with a dog, a sniffing dog, and it just took me back, and like it just blew my mind. And then I just started thinking of how black folks back in King's days, Dr. King days and Malcolm X days were actually boots on the ground out there fighting, in the murder cut. That way we can be able to come together and be treated equally or whatever the case may be. But the fact that most of them were literally bitten by dogs. They threw hot water on, like they literally tortured peaceful protesters. And for me to see that type of foolishness, but then you let people walk all over the Capitol, up and down, riding their bikes with mega shirts on. Like, make it make sense. Like, it's disgusting. It's just like, when you see that kind of stuff, and what was most impactful to me was when we got inside there, and then seeing my sister Latoya, she couldn't even talk. She was choked up and, couldn't talk. And it's like, no matter what, you could be in one state of mind of saying, oh, I'm going to be positive. Today I'm not going to cry when I talk about my loved one. But when you talk about them, that hurt, that pain that's connected comes right on, and it's strong enough to literally knock you off your feet. So this beautiful sister couldn't even really get her statements out at first. Well, we like, take your time, sis, we got your back type of thing, showing her love and support. But then to see and meet other families that literally testified that their loved ones, and this sister was able to galvanize different people. It wasn't just people from DC. We had people there. We had a mother there from Philly who lost her husband. Like, we had a lot of different people, and that was coming from different places just to meet up in DC yesterday. Like, I took off of work, things of that nature, and so did other folks, But with that being said, to actually hear the pain that was in that room, and every time, and then I even seen mothers. Like, I saw my beautiful sister, Rhonda, I saw Darlene, I saw, I saw all my beautiful sisters that I have not seen in a while. Maurice Donald Johnson, I saw his mom. I saw all of them. Brian Gray Hopkins. Like, I literally saw faces that I haven't seen in a while, and then to see new faces in a space that we never signed up for. No one never signs up for this club to say, hey, recruit me. I want to be in a club that I feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare. And then while I'm stuck in this nightmare, you lose so much. If you don't walk away, I'm telling you, the retaliation is so real. And it is pretty much designed to be the way it is. You lose so much. You lose people that's close to you. like, it's just so much. It's all the trickery where they be trying to set you up. You gotta dodge this net, and you gotta be smart. You gotta think outside the box. Like, you gotta watch yourself. You can't trust this person too much. You can't trust that one too much. It's a lot to take in, on top of fighting for accountability and surviving in society, paying bills, being everyday people, still got a family to take care of, and still dealing without even being able to grieve. You know, it was just sad, and like meeting mothers that just said, "Oh, you know, my child was gunned down in my face, shot over 12 times," or, you know, my young 12-year-old son was a dad that said his son was 12 years old, was a teenager, and he was literally gunned down outside in front of his house. You know, and most of the cases, and it was sad and interesting in it as is today, most of the cases dealt with, you know, mental health crisis situation, and most families are being vulnerable, and they just want to get help, get their child, their loved one, their father, their uncle, their son, their daughter, or whoever the case may be. They want to get them to the hospital safely, right? So that way, if they're on medication, they get medicated, they get treated. But no one never wanted it to turn into their child being carried out of their home in a body bag, literally, or just murdered, like brought the death chamber to them. Like, what? And it's so sad and disgusting. And to go through that and like navigate and pull through that pain and still hold down, and then it literally, as we were marching peacefully, they even put like a barricade up around they had the nerve to put a barricade up around the building so we couldn't even go near the steps. And I'm like, oh yeah? I'm like, really? And then as soon as they thought we were gone, you know, they took it down for the white people to walk all up and down and cross the, you know, the steps and things like that. And then the crazy part where they messed up, they didn't realize two of, and I'm not going to throw their names out there, but two white men that are active West Coalition members, they didn't even realize that, you know, they kind of fit in the mix with the white people. So they let them actually walk through, through without messing with them. And they had the nerve to make poor LaToya at the same time they're letting the white West Coalition members walk through, not even knowing they were coalition members, right? They actually stopped LaToya and her husband. And told them, oh no, you can't walk through, you gotta walk, or made them walk all the way around. But this is the reality and everything that we're dealing with. We always got to deal with the ignorance and the hate of racism. And it's sad that people don't even get a chance to know you and they can hate you. And then I'll even take it further, even though I'm talking about racism, you know, because it's ugly. I hate when it roars its ugly head. It's heartbreaking, you know, but what bothers me too is the way we carry, and I'm talking to my Black and brown folks, you know, that look like me, the way we carry and mistreat each other. Like, we are the only race that like fight against each other. Like, we can't stick to one purpose, one cause, one fight type of thing and shut it down. We be all over the place. Some of us will sell our souls. Some of us will sell out, like, set up people that they love and care, all $2, right? Is that really worth it? Like, and it's sad, it's disgusting. And then it ain't even to just be Black and brown people. Could be the people that you love or trust, you know, and they will be that that foolish and evil to actually sell you out. Like, and I just said all that's to say that no matter what trick or trickeries that they're doing, it is not going to stop this fight. We're going to continue on fighting for our loved ones. We're going to continue on lifting them up in love, because guess what? It's enough of hate in this world. But I do know that if they don't get it, shut it down, that really works. Like, we don't get it, shut it down, that really works. Like if you look at the Man Talk Show, Jim Kimmel, whatever his name is, sorry if I said his name incorrectly, but they took him off the air and they lost so much of money. They put him back on immediately in 24 hours. And I was cracking up yesterday when I came home late night and he was on and he was going in and I was like, okay, I never really watched the show, but now I think I'm gonna start peeking at it because it had me in here cracking up. And I'm like, just the fact that, he stood strong and, was saying what he was saying. But my thing is, if we don't get stuff, why are we still participating and buying from places that disrespect us? It's just I'm like, we can see what happened when we withdraw our dollars from this capitalist system. That's all they care about. And it's terrible that money means more than a human life. And it's so disgusting. And they always say, money is the root of all evil. And it's horrible. It is so sad. But all the money in the world can never bring our loved one back. And all the money in the world cannot keep you here forever. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we all have a day that we're born into this world. We all have a day that unfortunately we will leave this world. But I just want to talk about, having integrity. It seems like now respect, loyalty, dedication has taken a back seat. It has taken a back seat. And it's just like, I'm seeing so much of stuff that I don't want to see, that I'm forced to see. And it's like, okay, you can act like you don't see something, but guess what? When it roars its ugly head, and you can act like you don't see it if you want to, but when it's time to bite and attack you, guess what? It's going to bite. It's going to attack you. You can sometimes we'll see red flags and things. It'll be like, giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. And I personally do this because I'm the type, I'll always try to see the good in someone. Like I'll always try to see the good in someone before I try to see like the bad or the evil stuff. Because I'm like, in my mind, I don't want, nobody to be that bad or evil. So I'm like, I'll always try to see the good in someone. And it's just sad, like the type of people that good people are exposed to, but at the end of the day, I feel, and it's not the West Coalition talking, this is me, Tawanda Jones, talking to y'all. When I come on here, half the time, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I don't go from an agenda and be like, okay, I might have topics that I might say, okay, I want to cover this, but I always go off of my heart. Sometimes it be all over the place because guess what? America's all over the place right now. So how can my mind not be everywhere on everything at one time? And it's crazy right now. It's crazy for a lot of us. So thinking that you are dealing with stress or whatever the case may be, guess what? So is somebody else. Does that mean you got the right to treat them your stress is more important than their stress instead of navigating and pull together and y'all coming together as one or as a group or whatever the case may be and y'all work together because together is stronger than, being alone. And it's sad, but we're in real times that the enemy has it set up and they will make the people that don't care nothing about you look like they are the good ones, and the ones that really love you, that's going to ride out for you, and all that, they make them look bad. I'm sorry, you say something, Uncle Bill?
No, my wife was just mentioning something to me.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll start maybe trying to get my attention. But anyway, sorry about that, guys. But nevertheless, we're in times like that. So I just ask you in any and everything, be your own conscious consumer. Do not somebody tell you about somebody. Sometimes you can't even believe stuff that you may just think how can I put this? So I had a situation and I always and every time I think about my big brother Tyrone, it was a real Well, I think I might have bought it on here a couple times. Because he said, sis, that's how the enemy works. He can have something that look like it's exactly that, and it's not even that. Trust me. So I'm like, yeah, but if it looked like that, my mom, if it walk like a duck and quack like a duck, it's a duck. So I was going off of them standards, but story short, I'll never forget my that. And I wound up, I was a teenager when I moved out because I had babies at a young age, but that's a whole nother story. But my landlord was a slumlord because he knew that I was young. He knew that my mother was co-signing on my apartment because I wasn't 18 yet. So my mother was the co-signer. And he was playing lots of games with me. And when my mother came to visit, and because it was like no heat in my home and I'm paying like rent and my mother's paying rent for me, and she was like, she was like, Tawanda, look, you're not going to have, and at the time I only had my oldest two. She was like, if you want to stay around here and freeze, you are not going to have my two small grandbabies in this apartment freezing. That when is he going to heat? I'm like, he said it's going to turn the heat on. She was like, it's almost like, she's like, it's almost December and he ain't got no heat on. It's freezing here. So she literally like, come on back home. And as bad as I didn't want to, I'm like, you know what, I just got a list because she's like, put your money in escrow and, I'm going to keep paying. We're going to put it in escrow, but then make him make the repairs. And he was such a horrible landlord that they wind up saying, you just move, and whatever happened, he had to deal with the penalty. So with that being said, I hurried up and by me moving, because I accidentally left this brown chair in my house, and it went to my dining room set. And I felt some type of way because this is a dining room set that I, bought out of my money. And I'm like, I was like, I want my money. I want my chair, So every time that I would look and see that sixth chair was missing, it would make me feel some type of way. And then one day I'm walking past, going to the store, and I see a security guard sitting up right on my patio, my old apartment patio porch, right? And I see him right in the chair that I believe to be mine, and it was irritating. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it made me mad. So every day I would come home and I'd be talking to my brother Kyle like, oh, it's driving crazy. I see that they got a security guard guy sitting on my chair, and then I'm like, I want my chair back. And then I think one day I might have went back up to him. My mom was like, won't you just ask him and let him know that that's your chair? You can show him pictures like that, that you used to live there. Show him a picture of your lease and, stick him your lease and you can show him pictures of the actual dining room set or whatever. So long story short, when I tried to talk to the guy about, I'm like, okay, that's a move. So I'm like, okay, cool. So one weekend I went, he was out there watching Pop, still out there. So I'm like, hey, sir, I don't know if you're aware, but I used to be a tenant here. I just literally moved less than 60 days ago. That's my chair. He was like, well, you got to take that up with the landlord. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't want to see nothing. Like, that's smart and was nasty. And I'm like, and that really crushed my feelings. So I come back and the whole time my little brother listening to all this nonsense. So one day he was just walking to the store and happened to see that same chair. And this time, the security guard moved it, like he didn't have it up on the patio. He had it like literally right down in front of the apartment building, just like right there, like, hey, get the chair. So my little brother grabs the chair, come home knocking on the door. Hey, sis, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, what's up? And then I opened the door. He like, oh, your chair. And I was all happy, like, oh my goodness, how did you get my chair back there? He was like, no, I ain't gonna lie, sis. He said, I saw it, sitting there, and wasn't nobody there. I was gonna ask the guy myself, could you give me back my sister's chair? But nobody was there. But long story short, so we sat there, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So my big brother was like, sis, that's not your chair. And I'm like, that is my chair. Long story short, this particular chair had a bar like a gold bar at the bottom of the chair. And none of my other chairs had that. And I was like, oh my, and I felt so bad. And it was to the point like, oh, should we take it back? Like, no, because this is like, you look like you stole the chair. That wasn't the case. My brother just thought it was my chair. And I'm like, it was my chair, it's not stealing. So it was just crazy. So my big brother, Tom, was like, you know what, let that be a lesson in life. Something can look exactly like something and it don't be that. So my point is, how the times that we're in now, I believe, not the West Coalition, that we are in a spiritual warfare, and the enemy will set things up to make it seem like something is something that it's not, and then you roll with it without being your own conscious consumer. And we're cutting the wrong people off and then dealing with the wrong people, and it's a hot mess out here. We really in a struggle right now, and I'm praying for everybody, And tonight we have like a long list, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, of police brutality. So I just wanted to share those things with you before we actually get to like our share list and get to clear with the questions. And it was really great after us leaving DC and me and the West family, I would say my West Coalition family, we went to dinner at an amazing place that Uncle Bill picked out, and we really enjoyed that meal together as a coalition. So I just say, like, if y'all working together, like, take time to enjoy each other. Like, I know we in a fight and we always want our fists up in the air. We need to actually, as coalitions, take time to actually sit down, dinner, breakfast, whatever, and just do fun things. And I'm still thinking like that. Really, that was something needed because it relaxed my mind. We had good conversation. We were all laughing. I was doing the Orange Agent impersonation, and we just had a fun, good time after like having a day of emotions. And then literally, as soon as I pull on my block, what's sitting in front of my door? Like what? A police call for no reason. Like I said, I don't live on that type of block where like on the street talking. It's nothing but driveway. So you're blocking someone's driveway just to be right there. Like looking at my house was weird. But I'm just like, every time we do big stuff, they send weird people out. It's either a cop, it's either somebody fired, all this foolishness. But I don't care who you send or how you do it. That's not going to stop me. Like, that's how you can do whatever you want to do. You can mess with my vehicle like y'all been doing, just doing stuff, taking parts off my car, got my car sound like it's about to blow up, like real talk. Like, had mechanics look at it, it was like, well, how in the world did this piece move from there? And then one day I come out, my mirrors was pushed in to let me know, oh yeah, we're gonna push your mirror in and let you know that we messing with your car. And then when we started up, it sounded like it's about to blow up, like foolishness. But again, none of that foolishness is not going to distract me because I believe that something big is about to happen. And my brother King, as closer as we get to the truth, I'm telling you, I've been going through this for a decade. Every time some big announcement get ready to come out, they start sending the creeps. I lie to you not. It's facts. So I had to fact check myself because I started thinking about before the AG's office came out to report and let me know that my brother's case is going to be investigated. We're still waiting for that. But before that, a lot of weird stuff started happening. I'm like, okay, what in the hell do it happen? I'm talking about weird. I'm leaving my job weird, going to a whole nother job weird. I'm at the courthouse dealing with my cousin being murdered by a Caucasian serial killer, weird, and then I'm getting a call literally while I'm at trial, seeing someone that murdered my brother, a white son. Not just not my brother, but my cousin. And I'm getting a call about my brother saying that they, investigated and they were to come out with this report and could I talk? So I'm literally doing interviews. When I was doing those interviews, when that announcement came out, when Governor Moore and them came out with the big announcement, lie to you not, we were down at the courthouse. I'm doing interviews outside of Mitchell Courthouse. Literally talking about it. You can't make this stuff up. I'm so confused. So I believe, with that being said, and the way they turning up the heat on me, Lord Jesus, take the wheel. But guess what? While Jesus is taking the wheel, I'm going to still be riding shotgun, doing what I do, and that's chasing these killer cops. I'm not going to stop until these killer cops are in cell blocks. Point Plain simple. It ain't no negotiating. It ain't no warning down. It ain't no scaring me off. It ain't no paying me off. It ain't none of that. No matter what y'all do or how you do it, but madam, sir, ma'am, whoever, it's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop me. I am here to stay. And I stand 10 toes down. And I'll say it again. I stand 10 toes down on truth. I stand 10 toes down on truth. And I'll keep saying it. My story has never changed since July the 18th, 2013. Because guess what? The truth never changed. The only thing that changed is lies, because you can't even remember the lies. You're like, oh, well, I said blase. Oh, I meant to say, no, man, we've been saying, hey, even though we didn't have all the details, intimate details, because the cover-up was so huge that, to this day, we still don't really have an accurate count. But looking at, legal paperwork and documentation, I can see that there were at least 17 armed men and women that laid hands on one unarmed man. And that's my big brother, Tyrone West. And you think I'm not going to be out here calling them out? Do y'all know that every time I come on here and y'all see me play Ruiz video, I'm playing a legalized gang video, right? Every time I'm playing a video calling him out, right? I just want him up on all the animals that murdered my unarmed brother. It was men and women. Latrice Lee, Daniel. I want all of them.
There you go.
Eric Lee. I want Lyle Dottie, Baby Killer Lewis Morgan, who sat on my brother's neck and put all his knees up into my brother's back while he was in a hog tie position, pushing 340 pounds. And see, my brother was dead after he got beat to death. I want all of them in a cell block, and I'm not going to stop. But do you know what comes with it? Retaliation, bro. That comes with it. That's a part of the game. That's a part of it. It follows you everywhere you go. And I ain't never been scared. The only one I fear, and that's God. So I don't care how many games y'all play, what you do, how you do it. I'm not going to stop telling my truth. I'm not going to stop being a living witness, telling you guys that these people, I don't know who it is, I can't call them out, but they're doing this stuff to try to scare me because they know they could not pretty much buy my soul. They know I would not sell out and be quiet. And the thing is, once they try to offer you money and you turn that down, okay, they like, okay, now we're going to set you up. It is what it's on and popping. And if y'all don't believe me, look up activists that was lynched and killed in Ferguson.
Yeah.
That represented Michael Brown. And the last one, the young man that was with Michael Brown that was hiding because he was scared. He knew how real it was. When he seen the front line of these, that was like, God forbid, front line of people start dropping off here. And then like, oh, snap. And I was with Michael Brown that night. I'm going to stay in hiding. And as soon as this young man came out of hiding, they assassinated him. And now we got the purge, the stuff that we watch on TV, and we were like, oh my goodness, or watch on in the movies when they say motion pictures. That's how real life motion means moving life, right? If it ain't moving, it's not real. Like motion, everything is moving. Life is happening, right? So the things that we get entertainment out, the same thing that make you laugh is the same stuff that's making us cry right now. Where we was like, oh my goodness, the Purge movie. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big thrill of scary movies, right? So I'm all like, oh yeah, the Purge out, da 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 da. But it's not funny games when it's happening in real life. Like when I look at it and I think about, and if anybody have like watched the Purge movies, what happens is at midnight, they say the government is, and they gave the right to the people of the Purge that you can go until the sun comes up. That's these sundown damn towns. It got real to me when I was driving through Texas and all the southern states with my babies, right? Robbed for 24 hours. It got real. We seeing monkeys hanging from trees and saying, niggas get out for the sun go down, right? Excuse my language, but seeing that and experiencing that and then having ride over 200 to 300 miles and then rest stops that you could be able to go into, they got cones out. You break down all the gas, they got cones in front of gas stations. You can't even go in there and get gas. I'm like, what the hell? What if my car cut off? Like, bro, it was real. And you wonder why so many families and people are being missing. That's the purge, y'all. That midnight. They use the terminology midnight in the movie, but it's like cleanse the government. Anytime they have legalized genocide in all the cities and states, what the police is doing, killing us with qualified immunity. That's legalized genocide, buddy. Can't get no more bland and plain than that. Like, what we need them to do, kill us, and then they can hang brothers from trees. Brothers from trees. We know, ain't no brother, I don't care. And we all suffer from mental. And then some people can't take it, and then they like, you know what, I'm gonna take my life. I can't take it no more, God forbid. But ain't nobody lynched. Bro, not no black body is lynching themselves. They not gonna say, I'm gonna go hang myself, I'm gonna lynch myself from a tree. Cause no, the stuff that they doing, it is easy. And that's why I had a bunch of respect yesterday. My sister Nikki was calling it out yesterday. She was going in. Like, she was saying, like, yeah, you know, we talk about this, but we really need to focus on that. And I was feeling all the smoke she was blowing. And yes, sis, talk that truth. And sometimes we don't want to hear the truth, and the truth be right upon our. I hear, you ain't got to believe it, but when it smack you in your face, then you ain't got but to deal with it. So why, you know, go through all that? Truth is right out there in our face. And just like, great point. And she said, because we like, yeah, we got to keep fighting for accountability, but just when it's them, they get accountability right on the spot. They make it happen right then and there. And it's freaking true. I saw 2 cases, y'all, with I don't know if y'all heard about dude that literally took this white female life on a train, a bus, whatever case may be, public transportation. But they could kill him. He talking about the death sentence off the top. But then I saw, and it was like, God, why do you open my mind up? Why I gotta see this? I never asked to be a freedom fighter. And then I think about my cousin Tavon, may he rest in peace. He like, cause God picked you for that. You ain't picked yourself. God wanted you to do. I'm like, God, why? You could have skipped me, skipped my house, and gave that to somebody else, because I don't want it. I don't want it, but I can't help but to fight the way I do. I can't help to fight with love and with respect and integrity. I can't. That's just me. Those are qualities I live in. So that's why when snakes come up on me, I don't smell their venom, right? I don't see it. I sometimes get attacked and secretly. It don't even be the strangers that we, the people up close to you, to be the closest ones to you that hurt, and you sleep on them. Like, what? It's crazy out here now. But nothing they do is not going to stop me from fighting. Crap they throw out, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep on moving, and I'm going to keep moving in love and integrity. You know, it's rough. Got to keep our eyes on the prize, but I'm talking about with the black guy that killed the white woman, they like, oh no, they going to give him the death penalty, right? But then I saw something crazy. I'm like, God, why I gotta see this other night? And I had to send a chick a one game, Mom, because it was about a young teenager. It was all 3 black sisters. One of them game, I think, was Naya, and they were all like on a subway, and they were going together like that, just like family houses and stuff like that. Naya was a young teenager, beautiful black sisters, right? And this white guy literally stalked them, y'all. Stalked them on a train. Switching clothes up. They didn't even see me. He held them from one bus. So pretty much he laid eyes, and they was the black people that he saw. He like, I'm going to kill him. He had a book bag on, all that chain clothes, got out at the time to do what he was going to do. He literally stabbed the poor baby, stabbed her twice. Once I think that killed her. And then sisters, and they didn't die. Thank God they survived, but they, they have that feeling that, that guilt of the survivor's guilt. Like, oh my goodness, why couldn't it have been my little sister that survived? Why I had to survive? But it was horrible that this man, for no reason, literally killed this poor baby. And then time did I read nowhere in that story that I'm setting up, because sometimes I can't sleep at night, so I'm up like, and stuff will pop up on my phone, and this literally popped up, and about the white guy with the black three sisters. And nan time did they say they was going, and it was to the point that he killed them, and then he kind of plead insanity and all this stuff, and literally he switched his clothes, and then when the police officers was coming in, because they got him on video camera, where he was stalking them for one bus, he switched one bus and to follow them to make his move to kill him down the subway. That's when he made his text. He changed, put his hoodie on him, like he premeditated this, y'all. And then literally after that was over, when the police were running in, he had the nerve. They like running there. The girls up there that got stabbed, and they running like he telling the police to go get the girls, and he the damn killer. He the killer. The killer telling the police running in. Thank you, guy, and he gets off or whatever. After they figure it out, then they're catching him or whatever. But Nance, them say that they was going to give him the death penalty. All he pretty much said, but with that case, that they found him guilty and they gave him life because he was trying to plead like he was insane or whatever. And they got like calls from him from the jail where he was calling his doctor. He was like, well, I want to ask you a legal question, from your point of view. It's a legal question. It was like, well, the doctor was like, I'm not a lawyer, why are you asking me a legal question? I was like, no. So if I go off of my meds, how long would it take for me to start like hearing voices? And he's asking them this over the jail phone, y'all, and they played the conversation, all that, and they found him. Thank God they found him guilty, and he's doing life. But my whole thing, they didn't say that they was going to take his life. They quick to bring the death penalty to us. But again, this is stuff we need to focus on. How we are treated, and at the end of the day, both of them that murdered that white girl, he deserves to get what he get. At the same time, the white guy, he deserves the same exact thing. And I don't wish death on anyone. But my thing, if you want to charge one way, don't just eat the thing because of their skin color or make it hard because of. It's disgusting. It's so terrible. But if we want to believe that we're not in a racist world right now, then something's wrong with us. This thing been happening for 400 plus years. I've been told y'all to look up the Casual Killing Act. We're still under it. They just changed the language. That's all they do. The Casual Killing Act was established in the 1600s, y'all. We talking 2025 right now. And it's still going on. So again, the things that we laugh and we joke about, guess what? Those are the same things that make you cry. It ain't funny when it really happens. When it really happens, it's not funny. It's nothing to laugh about. And it's not saying that, okay, you get on the, you go watch a movie, you saw that, because I never laughed at anybody. Even in a horror movie, I be cussing at the screen. Like, oh my goodness, wrong. Like, I don't want to see nobody get killed. I always say nobody deserves to be brutally murdered. So I don't believe in a death, penalty or nothing like that. That's just me. That's not the West Coalition. That is just me. But with that being said, I want to check in first to ask, do anybody want to say anything before we go to the questions and comments, and before we pretty much kind of wrap up and get to the sad list? Mic check.
Mic check.
Check.
Good evening, Tawanda. I'd like to add a few things about our experience in Washington yesterday when we went down to the rally and delivering the paperwork to the Supreme Court to challenge the whole idea of qualified immunity to let cops off the hook. So one of the things that struck me was there were about 15 people who were from impacted families, meaning that either a brother or a sister or a daughter or a son or a husband was killed by the police, someone that they cherished And hearing 15 people, and I might be off by one or two, but about 15 people describe the horror and the pain of experiencing this, you would have to have a heart made out of stone not to be deeply moved being around folks that have been through all of that and talked about it. In the case of LaToya, who organized, or with others, organized the event and turned the paperwork into the Supreme Court, the child that was killed by the police, her son and her husband's son, he was active with this too, that was their only child. And that's even a more intense pain to lose your only child. For those of us that went from West Wednesday, we had a good representation. We had 6 of us there supporting the activity. I thought that was really very good. And the last thing was, there was, as you talked about, Tawanda, there was a gathering for lunch and then for discussion after the Supreme Court. And LaToya made the point that if you have a chipmunk in a cage with one of those metal wheels that goes round and round, it'll run on there forever, even without earning food or earning anything else. And she said, in the fight against police brutality, we have to find new ways of fighting. We can't continue to do it exactly as we have before if we want to win. And in response to her point, I said that as a member of the Communist Progressive Labor Party, and this is my point of view, not the West Wednesday Coalition, my feeling is that the intense racism that exists today, that much of which you've described tonight, that it's not primarily a legacy of slavery, although it has been handed down. But I think it's recreated. Racism is recreated again and again because it's beneficial to the class in power, to the billionaires, for 3 reasons. One is that when they pay workers of color much lower wages, that accounts for a big part of their profits. Billions and billions of dollars they take in and keep to enrich themselves. And if there were equality, they would have to pay that out in wages to workers of color. That's one reason. I call that super exploitation. A second reason is it benefits them to build up racial animosity to make the working class weaker. Like in the South, it's mostly non-union because of the history of intense racism and separation. And wages in the South are much lower. So racism actually hurts those white workers, even though they may not realize it. And the third reason I think that they keep rebuilding racism in each successive generation is because they need a rationale when they go to war. They used to teach American soldiers that the Vietnamese were not fully human. They called them a racist word. The word was gooks. And it was to try to dehumanize the supposed enemy so U.S. soldiers would fight. But U.S. soldiers are not stupid, and they saw through that. And in the end, they basically refused to fight that war. And so, in my opinion, to get off that treadmill that the hamster's on, we have to come to grips with the roots of racism in order to defeat it. And I think that means, as my opinion again, we have to defeat the capitalist system. Last thing I wanted to say was, you pointed out that we had a good time. Those of us who went down from West Wednesday to Washington and came back and had a wonderful meal together in each other's company, we enjoyed that. And I just want to point out that your imitations of Trump were hilarious. Anyone wants to get a good laugh, just ask Tawanda to imitate Trump. She captured his stupidity. She captured his like repetition of nonsense. She was really good. So that's all I wanted to say tonight. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you.
Mic check.
And real quick, because I don't know if Khalil want to say anything, but I wanted to also share, like Uncle Bill was saying, like just being in that room, unless you had like a cold heart, a stone, it like had everybody in tears. Like, I'm like, wow. And it was just one, like, not saying that nobody's testimonial was sadder than the other, because it was just nothing but pain in there. But I was really struck and touched when it was like this young lady who had just recently had gotten married, and she wasn't even married to her husband for 3 weeks, and he literally got killed right in front of her, literally having a mental health crisis. And at the time when he got killed, she was pregnant with their youngest baby that she wanted to have. They got 5 children together, and she was pregnant with the baby. And now she got the anniversary of when he got murdered commemoration, because I think it was like last year. That's coming up because she's new to this family. So the year commemoration is coming up, their anniversary is coming up, their baby birth, like all this. And this was like, wow. And she literally gotta go through all this. Like when I say everybody, even if they didn't have a tear in their eye, for me and the other families, talk about their heartbreak and stuff. It was horrible. And even seeing poor Miss Dorothy Elliott, big shout out, this beautiful queen, been out there for 32 years, almost 34 years now.
That's right.
I keep saying, I don't want to be Miss Beautiful Dorothy Elliott. I don't want to look back and now this whole 12-year flight just ran me out, but I will never stop fighting. I don't want to add 20 more years to that. I don't want to. I don't want to. And this poor lady been fighting, this beautiful lady been fighting for her son, Archie Elliott, like for the longest time. And if you don't know who Archie Elliott is, this young man was actually gunned down. He had no shirt on, y'all. So you can see clearly that he did not have any weapons. He was a little bit inebriated, but he had no shirt on. He was put into the front seat of this killer cop car, this racist killer cop, and he blew him away in the front seat of his car, and he got away with murder, y'all.
And he was handcuffed with his hands behind his back.
And he was handcuffed. And if you think about it, with our sister Nikki, her cousin was killed in the same type of situation. Like, a few years ago, what, 2019, 20-something, 20, I can't keep up because there's too many stories. It gets confusing,
Mm-hmm.
But, it's the stuff that he was from a traffic stop. Boy, and I'm talking about not Archie Elliott, the John Archie Elliott. Now I'm talking about Nikki's cousin. What was his name? Was it James Green?
I don't think it was
William Green.
William Green. Yeah, that's why I'm horrible with names,
Thank
y'all.
you,
Please forgive me. That's why I'm glad I asked for William Green. And I keep thinking about James Green because it was a James Green that was accosted by the same killer cop that murdered my brother and his brother. It was James Green and Joseph Green, and both of those brothers were attacked by Killer Ruiz. So that's why when I hear the name Green, I would sometimes say. But William Green was literally in a minor traffic accident, and then he took into this killer cop car, killed the same way Archie Elliott was. And then you talking about in the county, because I believe that that's happening in Prince Georgia County, and like in these racist counties, it's disgusting. But I can go on all night and I won't. And I just appreciate your time. So, Khalil, I want to ask you want to add anything before we go to the questions and comments?
Mic check. No, nothing else to add.
Anybody else want to add to the conversation before Khalil goes in with our questions or comments?
I wanted to say something to Wanda. One of the things I noticed, all the people there have been through an incredible amount, and it was very intense and a very important event. The whole thing about the officers being warned ahead of time that there were going to be angry Black women out there. The majority of the families that are hit by police brutality are Black and brown families. And Black and white families have a right to be angry. But this group was peaceful, totally peaceful. And they put up the barricades right as we got there so that we couldn't go up on the steps. And yet people were still chanting and peaceful. Then we left for her to go around the corner so she could submit the paperwork. And when we left, they started taking the barricades down. We came back around again and they were taking them down. And yet there was still a different group, but just of white people protesting. And they weren't keeping up those barricades for the white people. They only put them up for the group that was predominantly black and brown. So our whole system is so racist. They were all being so racist. They were reacting to, you know, all of the stereotypes and the inaccurate things. I mean, the women there and the men there who had lost people were powerful, smart, and were saying the things that needed to be heard. And our government and our Supreme Court didn't want to hear it. The other thing I wanted to mention, and it's one of the things that was in the signs that they brought, is they were looking for a challenge to qualified immunity, which means that police can't get off just because that's their job. One of the things that I think is important to note is that other people who are professionals who work with people often have to pay for their own malpractice insurance, like doctors, clinicians, people like that. And so folks of us who provide services often have to pay for malpractice insurance, so that if we act in a way that is misconduct, the people who we hurt can sue us, and it impacts us individually. And that's one of the other ways besides the criminal court that's checks and balances. My belief, and this is not the West Coalition, but it's mine, is that police officers should have to pay for their own malpractice insurance, so that if they commit conduct, folks can sue them instead of using taxpayer money to pay their settlements. That way they would have to be more accountable too. So that's all I wanted to say. It was a very powerful event, and I really felt honored to be there.
Thank you, my queen. I appreciate that. And then I also appreciate, to like throw you under the bus, but just to give you a big shout out, because we always say when you see something wrong, say something. Because if you're not, you're complicit in it. And I like how she went up respectfully when she saw that racist stuff. And she said, you guys are being racist. Like, she called it out. She said what she said respectfully, and respectfully walked off. So I give you a big shout out for, you know, all the stuff that you do and how you do it. So thank you, my queen. I really appreciate you.
Now, you've taught me a lot, Tawanda. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm clear. We are ready. I didn't even realize time has been flying tonight. Oh, wow. I done talked up a storm. And I apologize for the time frame, but I just had a lot and that's why I elected not to have guests tonight, because I really wanted to talk about and just like the foolishness that we went through, and then not just the foolishness, but then how powerful, you could turn pain into being something powerful. And we were able to, no matter how many stones they tossed at us, meaning like the ignorance, we were able to be respectful and get our point across, do what we supposed to have done, and respectfully left. That was like very amazing. So I want to check with Kalia for the questions and comments, and we will go right into the sad list. I will say our disclaimer, and we're going to just go straight into it without even like taking a minute. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, starting off with the comments, I commented mic check. Linda Green commented a clear-cut racism at the Supreme Court. Adina commented mic check. Mainism also commented mic check. In reference to your story about your dining room chair, Tawanda, Adina commented, I love this story. Also commented, wow. Adina, I guess with the YouTube comments, also said some comments are being censored from showing up. Descartes commented mic check. Adina commented, I wrote earlier that the insanity defense shouldn't be a thing. You're obviously some form of crazy to be able to take someone's life. Descartes commented, I saw your post on Facebook, looked inspiring. In reference to the Trump impression that Bill mentioned, Adina commented with a laughing emoji and said, I didn't know you had a chump impression. Descartes commented with a orange emoji and hand symbol referencing Trump. Adina also commented, Baltimore City, Montgomery, and Prince George's counties are just as bad regarding police brutality in the state of Maryland. And yeah, the quote unquote angry black woman narrative, shame on them. And Descartes commented, well spoken, Hillary. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Tawanda, I wanted to.
Yeah, wow. And thanks
Tawanda?
everybody for all the mic checks, their comments, and yeah, I gotta do the impersonation in front of you guys. It is so funny. Like he done irked me so bad that I like mastered him. But anyway, that's a whole another laugh, another day. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for the comments, thank everybody for their time, and I am just going to
Just a minute,
pretty much
Tawanda.
say,
Tawanda,
I'm sorry. What did you want to say?
Brian's trying to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Go ahead, Brian. I apologize. Mic check.
No thing. I just wanted to make a quick observation because you brought up Jimmy Kimmel and that whole situation. And the thing is that there was all this outrage because Jimmy Kimmel talked about not even about Charlie Kirk, but about the people around him. And people were like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's too partisan, and you can't talk about about a death that way. It's too political." And I don't see how Charlie Kirk's death is any more political than the dozen or so deaths we're going to talk about by police violence that happen, that happen every day. And yet, the news and the commentators are always like, "Oh, well, that's Trayvon Martin. He's a young thug. He was flashing gang signs on his Facebook, and so was, had a criminal history of this and that and the other thing, and so." Was probably high on dope. And that sort of thing is not considered, directly slandering the victim is not considered a political act, but yet saying something about the people who talk about Charlie Kirk is considered too political for us. And so that's just another example of how this society, has different standards for wealthy people and white people and men, as opposed to like children and poor people and black people. And so I just wanted to kind of put that out there as something that, that just happened again. And I think we should notice it. Thank you. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you so much. And thank you for that. Appreciate it. And I just wanted to, before I go into our mission statement, I just wanted to say my prayers and my thoughts with our beautiful sister, Alicia, who pretty much lost her son, Dante Milton, and for a mother to have her birthday coming up this week. It's horrible that, her son is not here to share in with her. And I'm just sending her love, prayers, healing, and it's all positive vibes. And then for her son to be pretty much, dying in the same, being murdered the same way my brother was, in a sense, it's disgusting. I'm not even going to go there, but I'm going to go to our mission. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force. And we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. Community violence. We seek to lift up the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtain some names that were shot and killed by police and lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We do not have direct information and details obtained to any of the cases or information involved in the circumstance each of the deaths of the people who died. Reading these are not condoning violent behavior on the part of involved in the situation. So we're just going If you're saying prayers, just, you can say prayers as we read these names of poverty of love. And just know that, it is sad. And we also here for even the survivors, because more people survive, police brutality than there are the people that are murdered. And I know we are supposed to highlight the ones that are murdered, but we're highlighting even the ones that survive. So I'm handing it over to y'all. Check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Twanda, are we going to have a moment of silence?
No, we're not going to have a moment of silence because I'm just looking at the time frame. That's why I said if they're into like praying or something, just send nothing but prayers and dedication to the airways. I respect everybody's time, and I know the time now is 8:13.
Okay. So I will just go ahead with the community violence list. These are people who have died by violence here in Baltimore in roughly the past week. And so we lift up their names in solidarity with their families, in memory of them, and in dedication of ourselves. So I ask you to just echo the names back to me. Kenneth Spaulding.
Kenneth Spaulding.
Daquan Moss.
Daquan Moss.
Quante Brown.
Quante Brown.
Tyrone Wright.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Tawanda, we're going to do the list of folks whose lives were stolen by the police in the period from the 16th of September through part of the 20th of September. There are 16 names. The youngest is 17. The oldest is 77. Let's remember all of their families and know that for each name, there is a whole family and community that have lost someone. So to start, on the 16th, in Wyoming, Michigan, 31-year-old male, Luis Sandoval.
Luis Sandoval.
Also on the 16th, in Pompano Beach, Florida, 38-year-old male, Esterlin, and hopefully I'm saying this name right, Apollon.
Esterlin Apollon.
Okay, also on the 16th in Miami, Florida, 44-year-old male, Jose Pineda Jr.
Jose
Pineda Jr.
Also on the 16th in Washington, D.C., 31-year-old male, Jonathan Baruch.
Jonathan Baruch.
Also on the 16th in San Pedro, California, 34-year-old male, Roger Nielsen.
Roger Nielsen.
Also on the 16th in Yuma, Arizona, 77-year-old male, Louis Byrne.
Louis Byrne.
Again on the 16th in Avondale, Arizona, 44-year-old male, Carmelo Hernandez.
Carmelo Hernandez.
On the 17th in North Codorus, Pennsylvania, 24-year-old male, Matthew James Ruth.
Matthew James
Ruth.
And now I will turn the rest of the list over to Bill to complete.
Thank you. We're dealing with the 17th of September now in Aquia, Pennsylvania, 18 years old, killed by police, Kendrick Curtis.
Kendrick Curtis.
In Longwood, Florida, on the same date, 68-year-old Gary Guckenberger.
Gary
Guckenberger.
Guckenberger.
Moving to the next day, September 18th, in Frisco, Texas, 31 years old, Logan Holiday.
Logan Holiday.
Again on the 18th, in Aurora, Colorado, too young, 17-year-old, Blaze Bally Mason.
Blaze
Bally Mason.
And I apologize that it may be a Latin name, in which case it would be Baye Mason. Moving on to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was repeating the name. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll say it once more to be fully respectful, and I think it's correct. Blaze Baye Mason.
Blaze Baye Mason.
Once again on the 18th, Glendale, Arizona, killed by police, 28 years old, Adrian Green.
Adrian Green.
On the 19th, in Channelview, Texas, a man whose age has not been revealed and whose name has been withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
Ashe. On the 19th, again in Carlsbad, California, 31 years old, Andre Matajasevic.
Andre
Matajasevic.
Matajasevic. Sorry. Thank you. And finally, on the 20th, and unfortunately, there may be some more police killings that we'll find out about on that date. We know just one at this point. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, a man whose age is not revealed as of now and whose name has been withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
Thank you, everyone, for being respectful of the families of these people whose lives have been stolen. It's a profound shame, and we hope to put a stop to this at some point down the road. Back to you, Tawanda. Mic check.
Mic check. So I just want to give everybody a big shout out for all your comments, for all your support, for all your time. A big shout out to the West Coalition, just for everything that you do, and all the other coalitions that are doing something. And just a shout out to just everybody that's doing something, being a difference maker. Love to live. I love you all. Unfortunately, the same way we brought you in with that awful video, we unfortunately have to play the second half of that awful video. So we will see you guys next West Wednesday. And I just want to throw it out there early. We have something planned big coming up in the next couple weeks. So definitely will keep you guys posted. We're going to be boots on the ground. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the gun trace task force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's attorney see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.